today we'll be coding up a strategy revolving around the EMA, the exponential moving average. So the exponential moving average is pretty similar to the simple moving average that we did in a previous video, but the only difference is that the SMA has equal weights for its averages, whereas the EMA has a heavier weight for the more recent data points. So we're going to be using Pinescript today. For the variables, we'll be using the 50 and the 200, just like the SMA. So now that we're in the Pinescript editor, we want to overlay the EMAs on the same chart as the candles. We just need to do overlay equals true. We also want to include commissions because it's pretty much impossible to trade without commissions, and usually commission costs can actually skew your datasets by a lot. So it's always a good idea to include commissions in your strategies. So in Pinescript, in order to add commissions, you just have to put in commission type equals to, for now, we're going to be using cash per contract because we'll be testing on the NASDAQ. But if you were using a different asset, you'll probably have to change the different type of commissions that it uses. So for NASDAQ, the usual commission value is $2.50 per contract. So if we want to put in the value for the commission, 2.5. Yep, so now we've set up our strategy function. We can write in the logic. So first, very similar to the SMA, we just want to make two lines and then have a buy and sell conditions whenever the lines cross over each other. So again, it's very similar to our previous video. These videos are built upon each other. So then you can actually be able to build your own indicators and strategies. So for now, we're going to start off by declaring a fast variable for the fast line. Let's say for now it's over 50, and then a slow line, and that's 200. And then now we make the EMAs. The Pinescript library has a lot of indicators that we can use, so it just makes our life a lot easier. So we can use ta.ema, and then it takes in the close of the candle, and then we want to use the fast length for the fast EMA. And for the slow EMA, same thing, but we're just gonna use the slow length. And now if you want to see your EMAs on the chart, you can just do a plot. Again, let's make the color blue, and then we'll plot out the slower EMA in red. And if we were to save it and add it to our chart, here we go. We see the two EMAs on our chart. So now we want to add in the buy and sell conditions so we can actually test our strategy. So let's start with the buy condition. We want to be true when the fast EMA crosses over the slow EMA. And if that is true, we want to have a buy. And then we want to have a sell condition. Same thing, but this time the sell condition is only true whenever we have a cross under of the fast EMA of the slow EMA. And if this were to be true, we want to have a sell order. And if we were to save it and have a test, we can see that the strategy has a positive return of 3%. So let's improve on what we already have. So right now, we should add in a piece of logic where we should check whether there's already a position before we actually open another position, because right now we're actually missing trades. To do that, we first want to have an if statement to first check whether there is a position already. And you do that by using position size. So when the position size is less than 0, it essentially means that there is currently a short in place. And if the position size is greater than 0, it means that we have a long in place. So if that is the case, we want to first close out the order. And then if there is nothing already open, we then do a entry. And we can further optimize our strategy by adding a stop loss, because currently our first iteration of the strategy doesn't have a stop loss, and it just closes whenever we cross under or over the EMAs. So let's add a stop loss of, say, 40 ticks. And then we do the same for the sell condition. So if there's a sell condition, we want to first check whether there is a current position. And if that's the case, we want to close the current open position. We want to have a sell order with a stop loss of 40. So that's it. This is the new version of our strategy. Let's save and see if it has a better performance. And we do. So you see that by adding a stop loss and changing up a few variables, we actually increased our profit by an extra 3%, which was actually double from what we initially have of 3%. So we have a look at the performance summary. We can see that even though we made a 6% gain, it's still worse than the buy and hold return. And the buy and hold, again, is just where we buy the asset from the beginning of our data range all the way to the end and we sell it. So the buy and hold actually outperformed the strategy itself. So this means that the strategy is actually underperforming. But again, even though we found a unprofitable strategy, it's good because now we can move on to a different strategy and not waste time on this strategy. Or we can also continue to optimize this strategy and see if we can have different variables and different pieces of logic where we could actually outperform the buy and hold. And that's it. This is all I want to show you today. And thanks for watching.